Thanks very much. Right, we're changing the tone a little bit now. We're going to be talking about gold. Cabral Gold is a publicly listed company which I founded about 8 years ago. We are listed on the TSX Venture. The main points about Cabral are, as a management team, we've got a lot of our own money invested in the company. And so I myself have got over 2 million Canadian dollars now invested into this company. And the rest of the management team also have significant positions. We've been working in Brazil for about 20 years. We've made 5 grassroots gold discoveries in Brazil. 5. The largest one would be Tocantinzinho. That is currently the 3rd largest gold mine in Brazil. So we've been there quite some time. We have 2 gold deposits here that we're going to talk about. The last time that we put out a resource estimate on those 2 gold deposits was 3 years ago, over 3 years ago, and we had 1.2 million ounces back then. So that resource estimate is way overdue for an update. So we've got 1.2 million ounces in the ground. We're right next door to actually that big mine that I mentioned, Tocantinzinho, which is owned by a company called G Mining. We'll talk a little bit about the recent discoveries, and we are currently in construction. We're developing this district in 2 stages. The first stage is a starter operation to mine the weathered material, the saprolite mud, which is about 60 meters deep. And we are building that right now. It's fully funded. We recently announced a $45 million US gold loan. We can talk a little bit about that. And we should be in production in about 12 months' time, probably a bit less than that. And we're producing gold at about $1,200 an ounce. My background, I grew up just north of here, about 30 miles north of here. I have a degree in geology from the University of Southampton and a PhD in gold geochemistry and structural geology. I worked with Rio Tinto and BHP for 13 years, and I lived in South America for 10 years. So I'm fluent in Spanish and Portuguese. Brian Arkle here is ex-Newmont. He was with Newmont for 23 years. Just talking about Brian. We've also got Luis Solaro. He's our construction manager. And also we have on our board a number of distinguished individuals, which I haven't got time to get into. One of the folks on our board, quite an important guy, he's the head of permitting for Vale. Vale is a $70 billion US market cap company. This guy is the head of the permitting, so he's on our board. As I said, very proud of the team. Haven't got time to get into who all these people are, but you can read it. Okay, so I was here 2 years ago. So quite a lot has happened with our company in 2 years. The share price has almost tripled. We've got about 270 million shares on issue, about 150 million market cap. The cash position is just about to jump to $70 million because we're in the process of closing that gold loan I just mentioned that was announced 3 or 4 weeks ago. And we're followed by several analysts. Good institutional ownership here, some local companies, several European groups, and a number of North American groups. I think probably the most important thing when you're looking at potentially investing in a junior company like ours, a junior resource company, is how much money the management team has got into the company. As I said, I'm currently in this for about $2 million of my own money. So that's significant. I'm not saying that's unique in the junior resource business. It's not. There are other CEOs that invest significant chunks of their own money, but it's unusual. Okay, so our project is located in Pará State in northern Brazil. This is a pretty interesting area because 40 years ago, there was an enormous gold rush that happened in this part of the world. In fact, the largest gold rush in history happened in this part of the world in the 1980s. 1 million people rushed to this area and recovered an estimated 30 million ounces of placer gold. That's alluvial gold, gold that's being mined from the streams. I've been obsessed for the last 15, 20 years of my career as to where that placer gold was coming from, because it's all been eroded from primary sources. The question is, where are those sources? The gold rush here, by the way, folks, was 10 times larger than the California gold rush, just to give it some perspective. Pará is a mining state, very good place to work, very well known for its bauxite deposits, copper and iron ore, but we're only interested in gold. I said we were right next door to a company called G Mining. You can see it there in the center of the slide. Both our project, which is to the northwest, and theirs is located on a big crustal break, a massive fault structure. As you may know, most big gold deposits are located on big structures. This structural break is enormous. The other thing about this, all these yellow dots is where gold was recovered from the streams here. The largest placer gold camp back in the 1980s was Cuiú Cuiú. That's our project. It was the largest one in the whole region. Now, G Mining, which is next door to us, I was directly involved in the discovery of that deposit. As I said earlier, that company has one mine. They've just made a construction decision. They're starting to build their second mine. That company has one mine, and it's currently a $6.5 billion market cap. So they've done very well. We think we have something that's going to be a lot larger. And I can say that as one of the two geologists that's credited with the discovery of Tocantinzinho. Now, the reason we think it's going to be larger are several reasons. This bar here is looking at this mine that's currently in production. Now, what this bar represents is how much placer gold was mined from the streams at Tocantinzinho, which is next door to us, 40 years ago. So there was 200,000 ounces came out of the streams at Tocantinzinho. Look how big the bar is at Cuiú Cuiú. It's not 2 or 3 times bigger, it's 10 times larger. For some reason, there was 10 times more placer gold come out of the streams here than there was at Tocantinzinho. Now, when we found Tocantinzinho, we did a soil grid, a soil sampling survey, and we got a soil anomaly which was 1 kilometre across. The soil anomaly at Cuiú Cuiú is 7 kilometres across. Another line of evidence while we're talking about it is G Mining has 3 or 4 peripheral targets at Tocantinzinho. At Cuiú Cuiú, we have 50 peripheral targets where we found gold in drilling, trenching, boulder fields, 50 peripheral targets outside the known gold deposits. So we're quite optimistic that we got something special here. If we zoom in and have a bit more of a detailed look, what these red dots are the existing gold deposits that we've got. We've got 2 principal gold deposits at Central here and this other one down here. I just got to move this. Yeah, that's better. At MG, sorry. And the yellow stars are the 4 new discoveries we've made in the last 3 years. So since that last resource update, 1.2 million ounces, we've not made 1 discovery here, we've made 4. Let's define what a discovery is. A discovery is something where we've got dozens and dozens of drill holes and we've got continuity. So we've traced some of these things up to 900 meters in one case, 600 meters in another case. We actually know there's a mineralized body there, but we haven't got a maiden resource on it yet. So the priority here in the next 12 months, one of the 2 priorities, we'll talk about the other one in a moment, is to get maiden resources on these 4 yellow stars, these 4 discoveries. Now, I said there were 2 main gold deposits are here. The first one is Central. It's a northwest-southeast trending body. It's about a kilometre long by about 100 meters wide. These yellow dots are drill holes. If we fly under it, the point I wanted to make here is that this body is open on every single section at depth. So that line through there, sorry, I've drawn this one. That line is about 200 meters deep. So it's open underneath that. I think the deepest hole we've got here is about 350 meters. So it's going to grow. It will get a lot larger. We've done quite a lot of drilling here since 2022, the last resource estimate. There's also potential along strike. So if you look at what we're highlighting here is with this, these 2 areas are the fact that we've got some pretty interesting drill holes just outside the main mineralized body. For example, this one, 138, 27 meters at 6.9 grams. You can see there's about half a dozen holes through there. So we've got more drilling to do to the south here. You can see where that is. Now, this first gold deposit is part of a 5-kilometer trend on its own, which looks pretty exciting. Now, one of the 4 new discoveries is actually up here at PDM. It's within the same magnetic trend. That's a magnetic map. Don't worry about it too much. Blues are good, basically, because blues represent magnetite destruction. You've had hot water flushing through here, depositing gold and destroying magnetite. So magnetics is very, very important. This PDM area that we've been drilling on, it is one of these 4 new discoveries. We've currently now got, this shows that we've got 3 bodies. We've now got 4 parallel bodies here that we've traced about 600 meters along strike. No resource on this yet. The maiden resource that we expect to have here should come out in the next 9 months or so. And what I want to do now, because I've got to whiz through this because I'm running out of time here pretty quickly, is I just want to look at this area down through here, and specifically the MG gold deposit and a couple of the new discoveries that we've recently had just to the north here. So the MG gold deposit is 2 kilometers long by about 60 to 70 meters wide. Again, lots of potential down dips. Similar sort of story to the previous one. Below this sort of 200 meter depth line, it's open on every single section. By the way, if you're wondering about how deep an open pit can go in this part of the world, well, G Mining's open pit is going to 400 meters. So we think there's a reasonable chance. This gold deposit probably goes a lot deeper than that. Now, we've made a couple of new discoveries here. There's this Mashishi main zone just to the north. Again, that's one of the 4 new discoveries. We don't have a resource on it yet, but it's looking very, very good. We've got a lot of drill holes from that. I won't get into, but we have, that's just 500 meters away, so it's another east-west trending body. Now, we also have a northwest trending zone through here. In fact, it's more like it's through here. Now, this Mashishi northeast target, we've been getting some really spectacular results. All these results are that we've drilled in the last couple of years since I was last here. The discovery hole was 11 meters at 33 grams. We followed that up to 12 meters at 27.7, 6 meters at 13, 5 meters at 24.5. There is a very, very high grade zone on this in this Mashishi northeast zone. So it's separate from Mashishi northeast, from Mashishi main, which is this thing coming through here. This thing is trending in a different direction. Now, quite outside the gold deposits and the 4 new discoveries we've made here, as I said, we've got 50 other areas here. All these little black dots, these black symbols represent other areas where we've got some drill results. There are a lot of areas through here. Jerimun Sima here, we're drilling on that right now. That is going to be a significant discovery in its own right. 39 meters at 5.1 grams, I think, is the best hole so far, but we've got a lot of other holes, and we've got 2 rigs operating there right now. We've actually got 3 rigs running in total here, so there's a lot of drill results coming here. Let's go to the next slot. The next set of symbols I'm highlighting here are other things. These targets have only got generally 2 or 3 holes on them, so things like Mora de Lua, which has 2 holes, that's 2.8 meters at 19.5 grams. Mashishi Southwest, I think there's 3 holes there. The best hole is 3.4 meters at 36.9 grams. Underneath that, some of these other symbols are areas where we've got gold on surface. So rather than drill holes, we've got trenches and grab samples. So here's one here, which is pretty exciting. Jerimun North, this one, 5.3 meters at 24 grams. Don't know what that is, whether that's a new deposit, I don't know. We've got a vein sticking out the ground here called Cabral, where the samples are up to 3.7 kilos a ton. Gold, not silver. By the way, there's not a lot of silver here at all. It's mainly just gold. And then underneath that, we've got boulder fields, best described as boulder fields, big chunks of quartz material with sulfide and gold sitting on surface. Some of these are exceptionally high grade as well. For example, this Alonso area through here, the boulders there, and I'll show you a photo in a moment, the boulders there are averaging 91 grams a ton. Here's another one, Trakaja, the boulder field there is averaging 74.9 grams a ton. We don't know where these boulders are coming from yet, by the way, so we have to find out where they're coming from. And there's just an example here of some of these boulders in the just lying in the forest. So, as I said at the outset, this is a district, it's a true district. That presents a massive opportunity because we think there could be 5 to 10 million ounces here, possibly more. We've had a lot of interest from major mining companies, but it's also a challenge. As a junior company that doesn't have any capital, how do you fund the exploration of this whole district and all the numerous targets that we've got here? Do you continue to dilute your share structure by issuing shares every year and raising money like most junior companies do? Do you do a joint venture with a major like Kinross that will want 60, 70% of the project once they've funded a couple of years of drilling? Or do you do something else? We think there's a third way, which is quite unusual in our industry, and that is to start with a small starter operation to mine the saprolite. The project is quite unusual in that this saprolite material, does anybody know what saprolite is here? Anybody? Okay, well, I'll enlighten those of you that don't. Saprolite is weathered rock. It's mud. It's free digging. You can basically scoop it out with your hands. And the saprolite layer at Cuiú Cuiú is very, very thick. It's up to 60 meters thick. What we want to do is start mining that layer and start producing gold and use that cash flow from that initial starter operation to then feed it back into an aggressive exploration program to go and expand the larger hard rock resource base here. As I said, we think there could be 5 to 10 million ounces here. Most of that will be in the hard rock, but it's going to require quite a lot of money to test it. And that initial stage 1 starter operation will allow us to do that. Now, we've completed a pre-feasibility study on that starter operation that I just mentioned. I'll run you through the numbers in a moment, and it's financed and it is under construction as we speak. So we should be producing gold, as I said at the outset, here in about 10 months or so. There is a resource base in this saprolitic mud. It's about 300,000 ounces in total. Most of it is indicated. About 220 is indicated. Now, not unsurprisingly, I suppose, this weathered saprolitic material, or this golden oxide material, as I like to call it, is sitting directly above the primary gold deposits. They've been weathering in situ over millions of years. We are aiming, we know that there's 5 of these saprolitic deposits. Obviously the district is way larger, so there could be a lot more of this material. But right now we've identified 5, what I like to call blankets, because it is a blanket. It is a layer that is up to 60 meters thick that sits above the primary gold deposit. Now the PFS that we talked about, or we're going to be talking about here, is only concerned with mining Central, Mashishi, and MG. These other blanket deposits are not currently including the PFS because we haven't done enough drilling, but there's a lot more gold in both of those ones that I've just outlined in blue. Okay, just to give you some idea about what this stuff looks like. This is the central gold deposit. What you're looking at here as we spin this round is everything at the top here would be this weathered saprolitic mud material. So my very ugly sort of shape there, that's the sort of material that we're going to be mining here in the next few months. Free digging, so very low mining costs. It's not hard rock, so we don't have to crush and grind this material either. So very low mining costs. It is at surface, so the strip is very close to zero. Very little waste on this. All this material down here, it would be the hard rock. That's what we're going to be doing in stage 2. It's a much bigger resource than the hard rock, and it's going to get a lot larger. But stage 1 is that surface layer. The second 2, or the other 2, I mentioned there was 3. So these are the other 2. You can see MG here with the proposed open pin. That red material is the blanket. Again, if we fly under it, it doesn't stand out quite so well, but we're just mining the top layer there. And there it is again. This will be a heap leach project. Heap leach gold processing plants are currently active in about 300 mines around the world. It is a very, very cheap way of extracting gold from ore. There's nothing sort of new in the processing method that we're using here. The processing plant, by the way, is being constructed as we speak. This is what it's going to look like, or a schematic sort of view. What you're looking at here is the MG gold deposit. That's looking from the north. You can see that the open pit there on the left is very, very close to the processing facility. The heap leach pads are here. There's 4 on-off pads in the middle. We will be producing doré gold bars on site here. Here's the processing plant. So basically the ore comes into this run-of-mine pad here on the left, on the top left. I'll circle it for you. And then we add cement and it goes up a series of conveyors. Basically, by adding cement to this saprolitic mud, you form a bunch of pellets, which are then put on a heap leach pad. We've got 4 pads, and you can see the 4 there at various stages of being stacked. These are on-off pads, so there's a 120-day cycle for each pad. 30 days to stack, 60 days to leach, and 30 days to extract the spent ore or move the spent ore. The gold recoveries here are very high. They're sort of in the 90s, 90%. Most of the gold actually drops out in about 12 days. So with 70% plus recoveries, at least in the test work we've done after 12 days. Yeah, this is just zooming in. Then on the other side of the pads here, on the left, which we're zooming into now, this is the gold recovery plant. It's called an ADR plant. That is currently being fabricated in Perth, Australia. It will be commissioned in Australia and then shipped out to site in the first quarter of next year. The capex, by the way, on this is about $37.7 million. Now, we've just announced a $45 million US gold loan, which will allow us to pay our G&A and also continue with the exploration during the construction phase. The pre-feasibility study that was done back in the end of July here was done by Senko Engineering, so a big conservative engineering firm, huge big firm, obviously an independent study. The gold price assumption that they used here was $2,500 an ounce. So we're a bit above that right now. Now, $2,500 an ounce, the payback on this thing is 10 months. And the IRR post-tax is 74%. Sorry, 78% post-tax. Now, in my upside case here, which is probably a little bit conservative these days, in here, I've used $3,500 an ounce. The internal rate of return post-tax on this, assuming a $3,500 gold price, is 151%. And it has a 6-month payback. So today's gold prices, you're looking like at a 4.5-month payback on this thing, and 180% IRR, something like that. This thing should make a lot of money. We're going to be doing 20 to 25,000 ounces every year, and the all-in cash cost is $1,200 an ounce. So, starter operation. Sensitivities, I won't get into that because I'm running out of time. As I said, we've just secured a gold loan. There's no equity that we've announced here. There's no equity deal. It's debt. Our largest shareholder is loaning us $45 million worth of gold, and we will repay that over the next 3 years or so. So, I think I'll leave it there. Look, in summary, we've been in Brazil a long time. We've got a track record of finding things in Brazil. We have an existing resource base that is 3 years out of date, 1.2 million ounces. We've done a lot of drilling since then, 25,000 meters or so, and we've got 3 rigs turning right now. So there'll be a lot of exploration news coming out. We are in this emerging Tapajós gold belt right next door to G Mining's Tocantinzinho mine, which we were responsible for the discovery of that. And we've not got 1 new discovery here, we've got 4. So all those have to be drilled off. There's obviously going to be a lot of drilling happening at depth on the existing gold deposits. This project is district scale. I've truly never seen anything like it. And we've got a stage 1 starter operation when the financing that we announced about 3 weeks ago closes. That should be in a couple of weeks. We're already in construction. The board has made a formal construction decision, so there's quite a lot happening on site. So I think I'll leave it there.
Thank you, Alan.